How's it going, everybody? Welcome. It is Friday. Thank God for that. And we're going to talk about some NBA, do some lineup builder question and answer with my subs here right on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for viewing. And if you could, before we leave, before you get done watching this video, smash that like button and please subscribe to the channel. We've got 8 games on the slate tonight. There's a lot of value out there and a bunch of studs that we have to focus on. So we really have to get the work done and do it right. So let's bring the chat in here and let's see what questions they have for today. We'll take a look at some of their questions and how players are doing based on their game logs and see what we can say. Are they someone we should fade? Are they someone we can play? So what questions do we have tonight? Bankroll question. Play the cheap 50-50s to avoid high-stakes players or go head-to-head. I would prefer, if you want to avoid people, if it's your goal to avoid specific players, play the head-to-head games on DraftKings. Limit people to 1 contest per buy-in level that they can take from you, and you can use the matchup blocker to put like 10 people, up to as many as 10 people you can block from ever having to play head-to-head. So that's, to me, the best place that you can go. If you still have, if you still have casual games, use your casual games. Johnny Popsicles with the new sub, blowing up the jar. Now y'all got to work to fill it again. Do we trust Alex Len tonight? Alex Len had a terrible game the other night when he was the absolute chalk, and he looks like he's going to be one of the best plays on the board again this evening. Power forward and center eligibility at only 4,900. This was his game from the other night when we expected about 25 minutes out of him with Tyson Chandler out. This is what he played when Tyson Chandler couldn't deal with playing that many games. He had 31 points. He's usually been, on his career, a slightly higher than point-a-minute performer on DraftKings. And now you factor in that he only played 19 minutes, had 7.7 points. He had fouls and turnovers. He had like minus 1.5 points in the first quarter and got like 3 fouls early. Complete outlier game. And I know for sure that people are just going to not play him because they don't want to get burned again. I 100% think that he is in play again this evening. Stud Fi with the 49 bits. Thank you very much for doing your job and filling the cup once again, guys. Is it discord.com? I don't know. If you want to know the Discord channel, type !Discord in chat and it will spit the link out at you. And you guys can just click that and get involved. They also have an app on the phone. If you're using mobile, if you want to link your Twitch account to your Discord account, do it on desktop first. Otherwise, it doesn't work properly, and you won't get. It won't link your account properly. So you got to link it on desktop, but it also has an app that you can use as well. No feelings in daily fantasy, says Rula. Exactly. You have to have a short memory if you're going to win at this game. Aldridge versus Griffin tonight. Who's better for GPPs? I think Aldridge is going to be higher owned, so therefore Griffin would be the better GPP play. Vooch going to go ham. Okay. What happened to the stream? It's right here. Luke Babbitt night? Probably not for me. But I don't absolutely hate it. There's no crying in daily fantasy. Exactly. So, like, we can take a look at the slate. We can kind of go through some stuff. Do I really think that Aldridge would be higher owned than Blake? I mean, maybe? You think Blake's going to be, like, ridiculously highly owned? I think that Aldridge is the better play, personally, for cash. I think he's way cheaper. I like Lou Williams on that team. I mean, we can bring this up, right? So we got Blake Griffin. We got Aldridge, who's way cheaper. Averaging, you got to be really price sensitive in NBA. Okay? Blake Griffin, awesome player. Pretty consistent, right? No real peaks and valleys. Pretty consistent right about where he is. Same thing for LaMarcus Aldridge. Pretty consistent. Not a lot of peaks and valleys. Right? Matchup against Milwaukee. 700 cheaper. Matchup at OKC. Unless you're going with the Blake Griffin going home to Oklahoma narrative, it's very hard for Blake Griffin to be efficient. I'm going to X this game out because he's not a 30% from the field shooter. But, like, he's also not a 60% from the field shooter either. I'll take the savings and take LaMarcus for me. Why is everybody on Lou? He hasn't had a good game this season. We're talking about Lou Williams, that is. And for me, it's a shots thing, right? Scoring, the number one correlator to fantasy points from real life basketball. The second one, minutes. That's why I always say minutes equals money, because the more that a guy is on the floor, and that guy being a scorer, the more likely he's going to be able to get up shots. 18 minutes, 8 shots. 30 minutes, 18 shots. The more a guy like Lou Williams is on the floor, and you look, he was playing 19 minutes, 22 minutes, 18 minutes. He is now going to be a 27 to 33 minute a game guy. People are expecting this. At his price, he needs about 30 points to reach value. At a position where he's shooting guard eligible, that's kind of a position that's not all that great. You know, it just isn't. You know, Middleton looks like the outlier guy when you look at his game logs. You know, with his minutes played and his amount of scoring and all this sort of stuff. Well, wow, at 6,700, he looks outstanding. But now they're moving, instead of Brogdon, who does not need a lot of shots to be effective, they're moving Eric Bledsoe into the starting lineup. And so I think that there's a little bit of worry, at least for me, with Middleton. And I liked Middleton. I wanted Brogdon to be in that starting lineup, and I wanted either Bledsoe to be at shooting guard or move Bledsoe to the bench. And maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll stagger them some to let him go. But, like, I think this cuts into Middleton's scoring. I think this really cuts into his shots per game, having a guy like Bledsoe who's a volume shooter in that offense and playing major minutes. And, like, the Bucks worked well with the mix that they had. I think it's interesting that they're going to do that. TJ Warren, Tobias Harris, or Middleton for GPP. TJ Warren's going to be the highest owned. Harris has a lot of peaks and valleys. For GPP, I'd probably go Tobias just to try and capture the upside, but I understand Middleton as well. But again, understand that there's an issue. Tony Snell is literally the definition of minutes equals money. Fantasy points per minute around 0.57, but he plays 36 minutes a night. Exactly. And he's been recently priced somewhere in like the low 3Ks, and I've been slamming him into tournaments to get me the upside that I can. Donovan Mitchell thought should see usage and minutes. I like Mitchell because he's actually shooting the rock, and they're getting him involved, but like he's playing like with the second unit, which is a unit he can beat, right? Like he can beat other teams' second units a ton. So at least they're rolling him out in a situation where he can be effective, because if he goes into that starting lineup where Rubio's going to dominate the ball and they got to get the ball to a couple other people, he takes a back seat and can't be as aggressive as he wants. Tony Snell is 3,600 tonight. Yep. Pau Gasol bumping on your model. Pau Gasol has just been cheap and has really been popping in a lot of different sites' projections for the last 2 weeks. So just kind of is what it is. Nurkic play finally going to come through tonight and smash. He looks like one of the highest projected players on the board in terms of price per dollar today. I would not be surprised if he was really highly owned, him and Dwayne Dedmon at center. Is Prince an okay GPP play? Torian, I assume. I'm not thrilled with him, but I'm all right. Like, I get it. I know what you're going after. He's had a few big games. Not really somebody that I want to have heavy exposure to tonight. Do I think Bledsoe affects Giannis or negatively for fantasy? If he does, then it's the worst trade ever. I think he affects the other guys. I think he is going to be used as a secondary scorer on that team. And that's why it worries me for Middleton. Giannis is still going to be Giannis. Tice won you the majority of cash the other night. Nice. Good work. Nice from Tice. Tice is nice. Thad or Avery and cash? Probably Thad, depending on the injury situation. Is Tyshawn Prince still even in the NBA? No. Bradley or Lou Will? Give me Lou Will. Crab or Rozier? I don't know off the top of my head. Like, I actually have to like look this up. But I don't want to like take the whole stream to look that up because I can't find it. Brandon says Crab. Oh, the one that he got it. Crab revenge game. Does Crab get a revenge game, though? Like, does he really get a revenge game? Not everybody gets revenge games. Lillard, the stud point guard tonight. Yeah, he's going to be quite popular this evening. Drummond or Vooch or Gobert. Give me Vooch. Team Teal, if I missed your sub, I apologize. I didn't see it there. Johnny Popsicles as well. Thank you both very much for the new subs. We are one sub away from 600. We're at 599 subscribers. We're one sub away from 600. He just needs the minutes to get hot. Like a Buddy Hield. Yeah, but that's the problem, right? When you're picking guys that need to score to be effective, it's dangerous. It's like I like those guys when they're cheap. I don't like them when they're expensive. Len or Smart at the forward spot? Probably Len because he's cheaper. You'll play Lou Will and Rivers will drop 50. Book it. Very possibly. Kyrie bounce back game. Kyrie's been good. Like, everybody wants to tag me as like the Kyrie hater. I've been like the Kyrie realist for like 2-3 years now. And he's been very good in Boston this season. In terms of playmaking, in terms of being engaged defensively. He's still a volume shooter. He needs to be more efficient, but I liked this stretch from him when he was consistent night in, night out. And then recently, this is old Kyrie again, right? Where he's bouncing up and down and just doing whatever. Again, 0 of 7 from 3 that night. That's not going to continue. He's too good a shooter to just be 0 for all the time. This is more along the lines of what he's going to do from 3. He's going to shoot 40+%. Stinker versus the Lakers. Yeah, happens. Wes Johnson is good. People sleep on Wes Johnson. Like, I couldn't believe he was as low owned as he was the other night. Like, I thought he was going to be like the chalk, and he totally wasn't the chalk. No Horford messes them up a lot. It does. It changes the way they do everything. Does Baines think he's a Viking? I cannot comment on Baines' belief in whether or not he is a Viking. Thoughts on Len Morris Grant core, value core for cash tonight? Yeah, I'm not against that. I mean, I think people are also going to have like some Terrence Ross mixed in there against Phoenix. Horford now questionable for tonight. Fire up the Tice again. Fire up Baines again. Is Giannis a must-play? No, I don't think he's a must-play. Any Lillard love? Yes. Lillard is good. And in my opinion, and this scares me, way more predictable right now than Russ Westbrook. And Russ Westbrook is $1,400 more expensive on DraftKings. I will take Lillard at $9,400 and be totally okay with that. Giannis is so good. I agree. I'm not going to fade him. You know? Like, there's a difference between a must play and I'm fading this guy. You know? I don't fade players like Giannis and Harden and LeBron. I don't do that. Like, well, you said not to play. No, I definitely have them. I'm going to have the studs. Every night that I play multiple lineups, I will have the studs in my lineup. Valentine will take 20 shots tonight. Do you think so? Like, is that what we're saying? Why? Why is Valentine going to take 20 shots? Why? He hasn't taken more than 14 any night this year. What am I missing? Like, I could be missing something. Am I missing something? Bad tooth to gum ratio. That's not good. You got smile smaller. Yeah, no, that's way too much gum, man. That's really bad tooth to gum ratio. You're gonna have to work on that, Denzel. Bobby Portis again. Interesting thought. Portis blew up the other night. If you played him, propelled people to just massive tournament wins. It's a bit of an outlier, though. Looking at him, took 13 shots, played 24 minutes, 45 points. Scored 21 real life points in 24 minutes. That is not who Bobby Portis is. Okay? Hit 3 of 5 from deep. Not who Bobby Portis is. Don't know that we're expecting anywhere near that. So at 6,100, he needs to clear 30 fantasy points. I don't know. I don't know that, like, if he gets me again, he just gets me again. You know? Like, I just feel like if he gets me again, if he does something like that and I missed, kudos, good on you. You win all the money, I lose all the money. Congratulations. I'm not going to chase that 45-point game from Bobby Portis. That is not happening. Notice I didn't make any comments about him. I didn't want him punching me in the face. Possibly Dwight tonight in GPP is kind of high for you. Dwight's been doing really well. Why Terrence Ross? He's cheap. And he can score. He plays shooting guard. Like, he's just a guy that messes around and does stuff. You know? He's not like a core cash game play for me, but like, he's somebody you're going to consider for tournaments just based on his price, based on the fact that he can reach up to like 12 to 15 shots, and he's really cheap, playing in the mid to high 20s in minutes. He's somebody to consider. Porter was a thorn in your side last night. There's a lot of guys that were a thorn last night. You feel Ross is pretty thin, even for, I don't think he's thin for GPPs. Favorite two, I mean, for GPPs, I think he's fine. He's not somebody I'm going to like plug into a cash game lineup. Fave 2 values for 3 max GPP. Turner, Crab, Wesley Johnson. Do we still have a situation with Wes Johnson starting? Like, if he's still starting, I like him. For him, it's all about minutes. If he's getting this much, you know, this many minutes, that's something I want to attack pretty much all the time. Gallo's out again? Yeah, then he's fine. Lewis starting, that's why we're on him, but I didn't know if we had confirmation of Gallinari yet. Don't forget, I've been prepping for a stream from 2 p.m. and then on stream since noon. Crazy Mojo, thank you very much with the Twitch Prime sub. Number 600. Outstanding. You guys are amazing. The support has just been ridiculous. Beyond what I would have ever assumed. Lab says Johnson projected for 35, 30. Yeah, like, if he plays between 32 and 35 minutes at 3,700, I like him. You know, like, he's not... He's just one of those guys, like, it's hard for him to miss. Like, if you're going to play 33, 35 minutes on a team that's kind of starved and is going to allow you to be a 3-and-D guy and get out on the break and you're going to get a few rebounds because you're 6'8", it's hard. It's hard to miss. Leonard Baines, I love Len for tournaments tonight. Like, I think that people are going to chase Baines and think he's a safer play, and Len is the worst play, when Len, historically in his career, has been the better play, but Baines has been up and down and had his career high last game. So, like, you're taking one guy who's been really consistent when given the minutes, especially with his block shot and rebounding floor and his ability to score from in close and his athleticism, versus Baines, who has not done those things, and everybody wants to be on Baines. It strikes me as a little odd. Not in our chat, but like, this is the way that people are going to make decisions. Yeah, Len was in foul trouble all night, turned over the ball a couple of, he was just, maybe, I don't know, like, we don't know what happens in their real life. Maybe he just was having a ridiculously tough day. You know, maybe he didn't sleep the night before. I don't know. Just seemed weird. Alex, I play, I foul Lynn. Nah, that's Chris. That's Marquise Chris. And Marquise Chris looks like a good value again tonight and had a very good game last night versus value, right? Or last game versus value. Right? So when we look at him, On 9 shots, 26 fantasy points. He's 4.1K. That would exceed it again tonight. He's somebody who, on a point per minute basis, is better, in my opinion, moving forward than Len. He can do more things. The problem is, look at there, he fouled out. 25 minutes. He fouled out. Like, this kid cannot keep his hands to himself, but he's an absolutely electric fantasy player. Got to get Dudley if they both get into foul trouble again. Yeah, well, good luck predicting him. Good luck predicting foul trouble for random players on random nights. Like, that's a bridge too far. I can't do that. McCollum or Fournier, and can you go McCollum if you have Lillard? Yeah, I don't think that McCollum and Lillard are mutually exclusive. Do I like any Magic in cash? I think that Fournier is fringy, and Elfrid Payton is fine. He's pretty cheap. Yeah, Chris, all Chris does is foul. That's it. Like, he just can't. We've talked about this on stream, too. Like, he cannot keep his hands to himself. What do we think about Melo? OKC is a mess. God, they're just a mess. I think Melo's going to struggle to get the points that he had last night. You know, Melo's averaging 20 points a game. He scored 28 last night. He's gonna sit between like 18 and 22 most days, which means about 30 fantasy points, and he needs somewhere around 40 in order to be cash game viable for me. I don't think he's gonna get there. Hoopsman 1982, thank you very much for the new sub. Appreciate you. OKC is the toughest team to figure out. I agree. Rasheed Wallace level of foul. Rasheed was talented and didn't foul. Rasheed Wallace got text because he was like a hothead, but like he wasn't like a perpetual fouler like Chris, and they're not smart fouls either. He just fouls. He can't help himself. It's peculiar. Do I like any Blazers tonight excluding Dame CJ Nurkic? No, that's pretty much where I'm going. You love the Nurk Drummond stack. Okay, that's interesting. Not against that. Bradley or Gasol for utility spot and DK GPP. Give me Gasol. He can do a little bit more. Bradley needs to score a lot of points for him to be effective, where Gasol can get you a few rebounds, maybe block a shot. He's still tall no matter how old he gets. Yeah, they're not Marcus Smart fouls. They're not floppy. You know, it depends on the slate, but in GPP, do I have a larger percentage of my value guys and fill in with high dollar guys? No, GPP, I make decisions. Like, this is a guy I want to have either because I'm leveraging the field or because I think that he's not going to be owned. Like, guys in tournaments are always less owned than cash, obviously, which is why some people say, well, the cash line was higher than the GPP line for cash tonight. And there's a reason for that. If all the chalk cash game guys go off, then the cash game score is going to be ridiculously high. Everybody who's 70% owned scores 50 fantasy points. The cash game line is going to be high, and it's going to be lower in GPP because they're not going to be that highly owned. So if I think a guy is a cash game play, like I had like 70% Harden last night, right? In my GPP allocation. In tournaments, he was like 40% owned. So like I leverage the field there. There's also a spot sometimes when I think a guy's going to be like 10% owned and I want to have 40% of him. So I just make decisions based on that. I also cap guys when I'm like, okay, I like this guy, but I don't want to have any more than 20-25% exposure to him. So like that's how I just go about it. Like there's no science to the way I do my allocations. It's experience, it's history, it's personal taste. Like, do you like chocolate or vanilla? Podolskia, thank you very much for the new sub. Another new member of the VIP getting involved with Twitch Prime. If y'all want to take part in these chats, these NBA, these NFL talks moving forward on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, we do these live on Twitch about 5 days a week during football season. After football season's over, we'll do some of these NBA shows. I'll fill in a couple of the NFL ones with a couple of NBA ones. But you got to be a sub in order to take part in the chat. Chat's always locked to subs only, so click that subscribe button. You can get involved with a Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 sub, or if you click the link right there in chat, you can link your Amazon Prime membership to your Twitch membership. It gives you free ad-free viewing all over Twitch and a free sub token that you can use on this channel. Justice Winslow looks good to you. Justice Winslow is like a poor man's MKG. Scares the hell out of me to ever have to play that dude. A lot of people like Crab. Like, am I missing something here with Alan Crabb? Because, like, I think he's okay. But, like, what am I missing? Yeah, the Discord sub chat's active all day. And yesterday, the Discord NBA chat that was open to everybody was active for the final few hours before lock. And then I looked again this morning at like 7 a.m. Pacific time, and it was already starting up going. So really good community that we're building, you know, in the Discord channels, both the ones that are closed to Twitch subs only and the ones that are open to everybody in the daily fantasy community. B Tackle, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate you. Been looking at my lineups. It looks like I leverage 4 to 6 guys and have them above 60% ownership, and then everybody else around 20 or less. Maybe it looks, yeah, that's kind of how I do things. I want to have the guys that I want to have way more than the field of the guys that I really like, and then I eliminate a lot of guys from the field. I play like 25 or 35 guys, depending on the size of the slate. You know, I'll play between 25 and 40 guys on a night, and I'll really focus on the core guys that I want, that I think are going to smash value, and then I'll work in the other guys around them. I mean, that's my personal allocation. That's how I do it. There are other people that never have over 45% of a guy. There's guys that have, they lock in like 100% of 3 dudes. And if those 3 dudes hit, they're going to win like all the money in the GPP. It's like, I don't need to win all the money in the GPP. I'm not trying to take like 400 of the 500,000 that's in play. Like, that would be awesome. But like, realistically speaking, I just need to have one finish on top. If I have one finish on top, I win. That's it. And I win a lot of money and I move on. You know? I'm not playing the really extreme game that some GPP players are playing. And they've been successful with their style. And I've been successful with mine for 6 years. So, like, this is kind of how I do things. 80-20 split, still optimal to grow your role. It's changed for me because I can't sell head-to-heads anymore. At least enough outside of NFL to do things. So I've shifted to NBA being a GPP-only player. It's way more swingy. I don't recommend it if you can't handle the swings. Kemba or Elf? I hadn't thought about Kemba yet. I've been all over Elf Payton. Yeah, like a lot. I prefer Elf a lot. Like, Kemba didn't even like cross my mind until you brought him up. I'm like, what am I missing? But no, I'm probably not going to have any Kemba. Fournier or Gordon for GPP? I like both in GPPs tonight. Fournier, higher scoring average and really consistent scoring. Gordon, steals, blocks, rebounds, gives you a much higher ceiling possibility, at least in my opinion. Fournier's ceiling is like 45, and we saw that last game, so people are going to chase it, where Gordon's ceiling is like 55 to 60 if he puts everything together in one game and has like a double-double with 5 blocks, which he can do. You know? Not going to do it often, but he has that in his locker where Fournier does not. Any Heat players? Signs look like no, probably not. I don't play very many Heat players on most nights. Just a team that they play kind of slow, and like I'll get Whiteside if it looks like he's too cheap or something like that. Schroeder thoughts? I don't mind him. Interesting player. Scores way more this year than he has in the past. Can get you some hustle stats too. Having both Mills and Gasol too risky for GPP? No, it's not too risky for GPP. I definitely wouldn't do that in cash. Whiteside or Drummond this evening? Give me Drummond. You play him way too much. Yeah. That's the other thing. Not just looking at what games you're most profitable in. That's something you should be doing until you get an idea of what you're winning at, what you're losing at, so you can do the things you win at more and the things you lose at less. Look at the player allocations that you use, and like, are you letting your brain take over your wallet? Right? Like, I like this guy. Like, is your heart making the decision, or is your brain making the decisions? Like, what's making your lineups for you? And if you're a projections guy and you say, okay, this guy is costing me a lot, so what is wrong? What's the bug in my system that's making it spit this guy out at me every day? What am I doing wrong? And maybe I should just X him out. Or, you know, is it a process problem in your own projections? Or is it a situation where he's, you know, your process is right and he's just been underperforming? Like, you have to take a really good look at all that. I'll take a couple more questions, then I got to go. Jeff Green smashed for you last night. Yes, he certainly did. Absolutely outstanding. Whose minutes go down with Bledsoe around? Looks like it's going to be the point guard, and that's that's just really disappointing. Brogdon has been doing very well and plays off of Antetokounmpo very well, and it looks like they're sitting him to start Bledsoe this evening. They obviously know what the hell they're doing. It looks like, to me, not the right decision. The kid can play D. He's an efficient player. He plays well with your best player. We'll see what happens. Looks like Brogdon's going to be the first guy that's going to be a problem. Ben Simmons made you so happy last night, even though they lost. Man, he is a fun player to watch, and I'm going to watch him every night. Vooch, the top center tonight? No. I mean, I like Drummond. I like Nurkic. I think Gobert's always in play. You have some power forwards that are available at center as well. Dwayne Dedmon's probably going to be a really highly owned value play. Best shooting guard on the slate in terms of what? Like highest raw projection or like best value play? Because like I think that what's his name? Lou Williams is going to be really highly owned this evening. Is Giannis going to cover Green or LMA? I have no idea. I don't think they. I mean, not that LMA is the type of guy that's going to get people in foul trouble, but they're gonna rest Giannis whenever they can because he carries such a high load in tournaments or in their offense. So like they put him on other guys when they have to, and they give him rests in spurts as well. If you watch the way that they roll him out, they'll put in leverage situations. They'll have him defend. The other team's best player that can get him in foul trouble. But they definitely have a lot of possessions where they take him off of those top guys. Who's my top stud? I don't know that I have one outside of Lillard. Probably the guy that I think is too cheap for the amount of points that he can score. So that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate all the support in the stream. You guys have been awesome. If you're still watching on YouTube, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back on Sunday morning for the NFL Anti-Tinkercast, and then I'll put my stream schedule up on my Twitter account as a pinned post for all of next week for the 5 streams that we're going to do. So thank you guys for being here, and I'll catch up to you later. Bye, guys.